What's happening, everybody? TK here, TK and Drinks. We got another Wednesday night live now video going on. Probably drop the day off of those and just call them live videos. Seems how the vast majority of y'all don't watch them when they're live, and I guess that's kind of irrelevant to the whole process. So we're here with another live interview coming at you today from Brix Urban Winery and Market. They're out of St. Genevieve, I believe, Missouri. Our friend Bridgette Burnett is going to be joining us. Looks like popping in right there. So let's get Brix on board and get the show on the road, so to speak. So hopefully that goes through and we'll be good to go. All meatheads, thanks for joining in. Love talking to you guys a little bit ago. So hopefully we can work something out. Super excited about that. Oh, there we go. How you doing tonight, Bridget?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Hanging in there like a hubcap on the highway.
I think you should publish.
You think what?
I think you should publish those. They're pretty hilarious.
You're not the first person to say that. Thankfully, my wife's looking at me just like shaking her head over here off the side. But I appreciate the sentiment. So for all you who are unfortunately not in the know, but now you are, we're speaking with Bridgette from Brix Urban Winery and Market. Want to make sure to get that right, get all the words in the right order and the right everything.
Yep.
One of the first things I wanted to ask you is why'd you go with winery and market? I see you do a couple of other fruit wines on there that are clearly not meads, but what's up with the name of that? Where'd that come from?
I mean, Brix obviously is another measurement for the solids available to convert to alcohol, but we went with winery and market because this area is not real familiar with mead yet. And
Gotcha.
So they are familiar with wineries, and mead is classified as a wine by TTB. So that's why we went with winery to kind of educate people who are more traditional wine drinkers about mead. Yep.
Gotcha. That makes perfect sense, actually, when you think about it. And then it doesn't really pigeonhole you when you start doing things that aren't mead related. And people are like, well, I thought you were a meadery. It's like, well, we do wine and cider and fruit wines and a couple other things too. And it kind of just encompasses everything. That's a solid call on your part. You're much smarter than me. I would have fucked that up in the beginning.
Yeah, it was more of a business decision. I mean, we have 7 still meads, and then we also have 4 session meads. Mm-hmm. But like you said, we do 4 different imperial ciders and I think 3 fruit wines. So the majority of what we do is focused around mead.
Which is, why we're here, and that's as far as I'm concerned, that's the awesomeness that comes from all the places that I talk to. Is I'm here for the meads. The ciders are good too. Regular grape wines, I'm getting to have like more of a palate for them, but certainly not my daily driver. I'm here for the mead. Right. And you were y'all were kind enough to send over the holiday gift box. So anybody that doesn't know, and I believe they're still available. Last time I saw on Vino Shipper. Yep. If y'all are just looking to get a taste of what Brix does, they have a 6-pack sampler. Got a couple little variety of everything that they do, so you can get a real feel and a vibe. We're going to go through a couple of those tonight, just so I can get some tasting notes along with you. And I always like to talk with the people who make it while I'm drinking it to get their vibe and energy off of what's supposed to be happening and stuff. So cool. Before we get into all that, give us a little background history on Brix and how it came to be, because you guys have been around for about 2 years now?
Yeah, but 2.5 years. It was actually 3 years ago yesterday that we purchased this property to start the renovations and start making mead here and stuff. So it was 2 weeks before I call it the apocalypse.
Solid call.
That we right that we signed the loan papers and stuff on the building. So we made the decision to open Brix because we were looking for like a way to step into retirement. Really didn't want to work until retirement age. And coming from corporate, I came from the food and flavor industry, and Natalie came from pharmaceutical and chemical, so we both have chemistry backgrounds. And working 50, 60 hours a week in our corporate jobs, we thought going into full-time retirement would just send us into a spiral. So we thought we would step into it easily and do something fun. She is the traditional wine drinker. I was more of a craft beer drinker. And so this was kind of like a way to meet in the middle, doing mead. So it's been fun.
We love it. In the middle.
Yeah. It's fun to watch our customers come in, because a lot of them, like the husband will be like a beer drinker and the wife is a wine drinker. Yeah. And they usually can't find something they like together, and they usually find a mead that they can share. So
that's pretty cool. I like the being able to reach the different aspects of, you got the wine drinkers, typically a little more persnickety. You got your craft beer drinkers, while also persnickety, at least a little more open to other things, and to be able to find something to jive and have them come together. That's a fairly big compliment, in my opinion. I take that as a solid win.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to watch it happen. And even after being here for 2.5 years, it happens every weekend, that people walk in that have not had mead before. They don't know what it is. So it's fun to introduce people to mead.
I'm sure you end up doing a lot of advocacy, teaching people what mead is and background and history and all that stuff. I mean, unfortunately, it just comes with the territory. There's so many. I don't think I've talked to a mead maker yet who doesn't spend, when they're behind the counter anyway, at least half their time advocating for the product. Here, this is what it is. This is what we're doing. This is what it's about.
Yeah. And the worst part that I have to advocate is that it's not MEAT.
No, that's mead with a D.
Yeah, every mead maker goes through that too. It's not meat, it's mead.
So what kind of meat do you guys sell now?
Right.
Is it a barbecue joint? What are you doing with meat now? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's a place here in Virginia. I'm in Virginia currently, and they actually had a mead called, we opened a meatery, and it was maple blossom something. They aged it on like pork belly and stuff. It was It was a trip. Yeah, so I'm sure like you said, every meatery gets the meatery. What are you guys talking about?
Right.
So like I said, I did get the sample box, so I wanted to go through that here real quick and talk about all these flavors a little bit, and want to crack a couple of them open and get some tasting notes here. So let's just pull them out one at a time out here. Ooh, so we got a green apple imperial cider. So what's the background on this cat?
So we do some ciders, and we like to do things that are different than some of the other businesses in the area. So we do have a lot of wineries, breweries, and stuff in the county, and we do have some other cider makers. There are not imperial ciders around this area, and a lot of people don't know what those are. So we decided to bump up that alcohol. We do like an 8.5% alcohol level on them. That one we made for Halloween. We do an event every year around Halloween called All Hallows Mead. And we do like a costume party. We give away a Halloween crate. We do a bloody caramel apple slushie. And we made that green apple imperial cider. And they loved it so much, we just keep it on tap now.
Now, imperial means, for those not in the know, which I guess is very few people, but that means a higher ABV, because typically your ciders and your session stuff are going to be, 4 to 6% or something like that, and you're above 7.5. This says it's 8%, so making that a nice heavy imperial cider. This is one I'm definitely been dying to try. The apricot aged on toasted pecans.
Yep, that one. We have a festival here in town that's called Pecan Palooza, and so all the businesses are invited to do something pecan related. That one we did for that festival, and prior to the festival we had a nationwide competition for the label art, and we allowed voting online and both here in the meadery, And there's actually a local artist that won the label art competition. So it was an acrylic painting that she did, and we converted that to the label. So, yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of what it looks like.
So it was originally an acrylic painting on canvas, and you guys turned it into that.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a neat
That's
way to
awesome.
support like a local artist, and we had like a prize for the winner and stuff. So, yeah.
There's a meadery out of Pennsylvania, Space Time Mead and Cider Works, and he does that every year, a local artist competition for one of his flavors, and he always has some really unique artwork come in and get turned in for those. So I think that's a wonderful way to incorporate it. I know you did it on a national level, but to even have it come home, so to speak. And you guys are in St. Genevieve?
Yep, St. Genevieve, Missouri. It's about an hour south of St. Louis.
Okay.
And it's a national historical park now. So yeah, it's a big tourist town. I think it's like the oldest settlement or oldest permanent settlement west of the Mississippi.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's got a lot of history.
And you guys do have a tasting room, correct?
Yes. So we're located in a 3-story brick building. It's called a Four Square. It was built in 1908. It was a family home in 1908, and then it was a hospital, a radio station, and then eventually it was a winery called the St. Genevieve Winery, and they made like some traditional wines and some fruit wines. And he was looking to retire, so we purchased the property from him and started our own business here, and started making mead. So it's a really neat piece of property and building here with a lot of history to it.
Sounds very cool. I don't know if I've even been in a building that old before. I'm from the Seattle area, so everything out there is super new by comparison.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. I like the historical aspect. You didn't. It was a winery before, so you obviously already had like the footprints for like the fermenters and everything that you needed there, pretty much.
Actually, not. So he distributed his wine. He had a big distribution. He was in Walmart and like Total Wine and stuff. So he manufactured all of his wine out in the county at his farm. And he was too large to fit in this building. So when we bought the building, we had to renovate the basement and put tanks in. So we have 6 tanks that are about 175 gallons.
Okay.
We have room for 3 different barrels, and then we have some drums that we ferment in as well. So yeah, we do everything here in the building though.
Nice, everything all under one roof.
Yeah.
The next one I pulled out here is the Tiger's Blood. Says that this is a carbonated apple cider with watermelon and strawberry.
Yeah. We try to make some complex flavors. So, even like that Imperial Green apple cider is really tart, drinks like a Jolly Rancher. The Tiger's Blood, it's not super sweet. None of them are sticky, sugary sweet. So that was kind of made after like the Tiger's Blood snow cones or shaved ice.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading on the side there. It says, takes you back to the days of shaved ice, sunshine, and beaches. Yes, very, very much so. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of beaches in Washington. I mean, we do, but nobody wants to fucking see them. And this pairs well with apples and watermelon and strawberries for refreshing summer shipper. Yes, I'm excited for that one. Even if the watermelon isn't like super punchy in the face, I've had so few watermelon meads that anytime I come across one, I get all giddy. And actually this one. So we got another one coming out here. This is the Blackberry. We see it's spelled Beary, Blackberry on there. And I'm telling you, I see the intensity on that, and I get stupid excited for that. That looks like it's going to be a punch in the trunks.
Yeah, that is one of our staple session meads. We've had it since we opened, and people love it. We actually do a fundraiser. We're getting ready to do one on May 6th. There was a local teacher who passed away during COVID, and so we do a fundraiser for her scholarship fund, and we pull the keg out, and 100% of that blackberry keg goes to her scholarship fund.
Nice.
So, yeah, people
That's
love
very
it.
cool.
It's really good. It's one of my favorites.
That's one of your favorites?
Yeah, it's good on ice cream.
Hey, I'm always down for a good ice cream gelato mead combo.
Right.
See, the next one we got up here is all burn. So I see that one poster there behind you. So this one says it's mead with Bochet, wildflower honey, whole vanilla beans, and coffee.
Yep. Yeah, so we caramelize the honey like you would for any Bochet style mead, which is like the French style. And then we ferment that on whole Madagascar vanilla beans. We split them and just throw the beans in, and then we add like some coffee to that. So it has a nice, almost like an old fashioned is what it reminds me of.
Okay. How do you add the coffee? Do you guys do like a cold brew on it, or just like a normal brew, or?
We do a cold brew, and I think that's probably one of the things that makes it a little bit smoother.
Okay.
And then also those Madagascar vanilla beans. I tried some other vanilla beans once, and the Madagascar vanilla beans really come through better. So, but that one's unique. People, when they drink it, they're expecting coffee or vanilla bean or the caramelized honey, but it all comes together to create like this unique rounded flavor that to me is like a little bit like a bourbonish old fashioned. Yeah.
The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Right. Yeah.
Right on. Hang on a second. Dog, stop growling at the neighbors. No, stop. All right, and then the last one we got here is the fizzy strawberry basil. I'm also excited for this one because I have had a handful of basil in my meads, and they always intrigue me as well. So strawberry basil is definitely something I'm excited to try.
Yeah. Strawberry is a hard fermentation. Every time we travel, we try to go to a different meadery or a cider house, a brewery, and strawberry is really tricky to pull off. And the basil pairs really well with it. It adds like a little tang at the back end of it.
Now, when we were texting back and forth, setting this up, you had mentioned that you all were in Savannah at one point. Did you hit up who's the meadery that? Well, I mean, Savannah Bee Company is there, and they have some different meads on tap. But there's B-Town mead right across the border in South Carolina. Did you get to check out Mike's stuff?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. We actually, I think he had one of his cherry meads.
The sour cherry.
Savannah Bee, and so that's how we found out about him. It was a pretty good drive from Savannah, but we were able to.
It's about 35 minutes, 40 minutes.
Was it? I don't know. It felt longer to me. But we were able to hit up like Hilton Head and stuff like that as well. But yeah, we went and sat on his little patio there and relaxed and had one of his sampler flights, and
Yeah, I ended up being there just 2 weeks after y'all were there, and I was just like, holy cow, we could have met up here and had a whole thing and everything. But actually, side note, but I was really dug Savannah. It's my first time being there. That was such a cool, unique city. I see it in movies and stuff where you see the moss hanging off the trees and everything. It has that very stereotypical down south feel, and that was a really cool looking town. I could see myself staying there, had it not been in hurricane zone. I can't do hurricanes.
Yeah, I think my favorite part of Savannah was the Grave Face Museum.
See, and I didn't we weren't there long enough to check all that stuff out, but we went down and did the river walk and did a couple other things. So definitely have to check out the Grey Face Museum next time we get back there. Yeah. Sounds intriguing and interesting and educational.
Yeah, it's right there on the river walk, but you have to go behind all those shops, and you enter through this sketchy back door. And if you try to ask some of the other businesses out on the front river walk where it is, none of them know. Even though the sign's hanging above their business, they have no idea where it is.
Oh,
and
okay.
When we went, Natalie's like, "Are we going to get killed?" I'm like, "I don't know." Let's
You
just go. They
know,
have pinball machines, so let's go.
I'll tell you what, my wife and I went down there the first night that we were there before we took our kids down there. We were saying the same thing. It was getting dark as we were heading into the restaurant to eat dinner. And I'm like, man, I've been on the streets of Phoenix at 2 o'clock in the morning and didn't feel this unsafe.
Yeah. It was when you go behind all those businesses,
Oh
like
yeah.
it's like an alley.
Oh yeah.
But that's where the entrance of the museum is. So yeah.
And those old cobblestone roads.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. It rained one day when we were there. We just sat
Same.
back and watched people slide down those cobblestones.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, trying to stop on that cobblestone, that would be an absolute nightmare. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, Savannah's an interesting spot. So let's get into a couple of these meads and sample them out here. So what's the lightest thing that you sent me? I'm guessing probably the tiger's blood or the
Yeah.
strawberry basil.
Yeah. Either one of those.
Well, I'm going to try that strawberry basil one. I love the little holiday seals that you got on the top of these. Nice, cool little gold leaf. So whose idea was it to throw together a little sampler like this? I see so few people doing it. It's such a great way to get your product out there for people who are hesitant to commit to a full bottle.
Yeah, it's something we were wanting to do since we opened. But it was just really it was a logistic nightmare, I would say.
Getting them bottled, I'm sure, was absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
Getting
it's hard to bottle in those small bottles, and then there's actually regulations, federal regulations and state regulations for Missouri on the size of the bottles. So
these are what, 187s?
Those are 250s, I think, or something. They're a little over
Really?
200, I think. So
Wow.
187 is the legal requirement for the state of Missouri.
Yeah, 250.
Yeah. But yeah, 187 is the legal requirement for the state of Missouri for anything classified as a wine.
Yeah.
I don't know how well they police that, but we
Better not dance with that fire.
right. But we try to abide by the laws. So, but 187s are very special, like make and mold for glass, and they're very expensive because they know that you gotta have them.
Yeah, it's a
So
specialty thing. That makes sense. And they usually, all the ones I've seen anyway, are most typically little wine bottles shaped ones. It's the same as like your 750, just shrunk down.
yeah, I've seen a lot of people they look like a little wine bottle, but they're actually hot sauce bottles with the screw-on cap. But those are 150.
Interesting.
Yeah.
150.
So the 187 is, I asked the state, I'm like, where did that come from? And they basically told me it came from the wine industry, like traditional grape wine industry.
Sure.
That's what they determined was a good volume so that you still have a nice headspace to preserve the wine. So stuff like that hasn't been updated for things like meads and cider for these sampler packs.
Yeah, so much of that stuff seems like it's in the Stone Age, so to speak. I mean, the goofy regulations, like with the naming the meads and stuff like that. Like honestly, I'm surprised they let you put blackberry on there. There's no real bears in this. Did you know that? You can't put bear on there. There's no bears in this mead.
Yeah.
Goofy regulations.
We're very lucky that most of the things we name and the labels we submit and the recipes they get approved through the first pass. So we've kind of learned what you can get by with and what you cannot get by with. But
right on. So this one straight away, right off the nose, heavy on the strawberries. How did you incorporate those into primary? Did you age them on the strawberries, both?
So the fruits that are in those are fermented.
Okay. And then what about the basil? Do you add that in after in like a mesh bag or something like that? And excellent.
Yeah, and that's fresh. We take fresh basil that's like picked straight out of the garden, clean it and rinse it, and then we dice it to kind of release some of that flavor and aroma. Put it in a mesh bag and put it in there, and then taste it every day and yank it out when it's ready.
That's a solid call. So now, when you're fermenting this, do you take this all the way up to like a full strength and then dial it back with adjuncts and cut it down, or do you ferment this to the 7% or whatever it is, and then carbonate it from there?
So those are fermented to the 7%.
Okay.
And then they're force carbonated.
Got you. And a
That
keg,
way
I'm
you can
assuming.
get sweetness in there.
Got you. Okay. Ooh, definitely got some astringency to it back there. A little bit of puckering going on. Strawberry and basil on the palate. Based on the nose, I was expecting a bit more of a strawberry punch in the flavor, but it's definitely an easy drinker, nice and sippable. What's the term that kids are using now? Crushable?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely like that. It's got a good amount of body to it, especially help with the carbonation in there. Certainly no lack of bubbles going on. This one's definitely an easy drink and an easy sipper. This is your Sunday afternoon porch mead right there. So
we had that one, and we made it in a bottle as a still mead, and we discontinued it because it was very polarizing for people, because it was even heavier, and it was about 12% alcohol. And when people tasted it, they either loved it or hated it. So we discontinued it in the bottles and started making it as a session. And it's gone over way better that way. So it's a learning process when we make something.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. I'm assuming you have a group of friends and family that you run all your stuff by, or some, maybe some regulars that hey, we're trying out something new, try this, and try to get some feedback. It's not all just, solo feedback or, just the two of you.
Yeah, definitely. When we have customers in, like the apricot on pecan, the ginger wonderland that we make, we take samples out to people when we do like a 1 gallon batch to see if it will work. Like, does the thought process work? And then if it works, then we might do 10 1-gallon batches and start changing up ratios and different adjuncts in there to see where we want to be. And we'll take all those out and sample them and get feedback from customers, friends. Yeah. I think it's important to have a wide range of people taste things.
And do you guys enter a bunch of competitions or any competitions, or do you kind of just not go that route?
We do. Lots of times it's last minute because I'm like, oh crap, there's a competition, get it shipped, Yeah. Because we're so busy here with everything going on. But we entered an international festival in New York when we first opened, and we won some bronze and gold. I think our dry cherry mead, which is a dark cherry and wildflower honey, that won gold. The Auburn, the Bochet won, I think, a bronze. And then we have a sour blackberry mead that won a bronze. And then we entered the Texas Mead Cup, and the blackberry session mead won gold in the session category last year. So
okay.
Yep.
All right. So definitely be trying that one out too. Got the strawberry basil fizz. I'm dying to get into this apricot toasted pecan one. So what was the inception of this? I see so few apricot and or pecan related meads out there. You see a lot of almonds in there. You see, cashews fairly regularly, but you never see pecans. And then again, same thing with apricot. I see peaches, almost never nectarines or apricots. So where's that come from?
Well, the pecans came from, we have a tree here on the property that's about as old as the building. And it produced about 150 gallons of pecans last year. So we had all these pecans, and we were like, we should do something with pecans for the Pecan Palooza Festival. We thought about a pecan pie mead, but we really like to have like complex things going on. So like more than one fruit, more than one adjunct to make a complex flavor. And
Okay.
so we were like, well, let's pair it with a fruit. And we did try, peach and different things, but we have a peach wine, so we wanted something different. And that's where the apricots came in. And then we just thought, well, let's just put a cherry on top of it and toast the pecans.
Yeah. Okay. And an apricot. So does that again just whole apricots or whole fruit, real fruit, and fermentation and not rested on any?
So that one uses a concentrate, an apricot concentrate.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Definitely comes off.
it's an apricot juice that's been concentrated, and it's frozen. There's no preservatives or anything in it. And then we rehydrate it back to, like a juice constituent. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely very apricot forward on the nose, not like a apricot candy, but like again like a nice thick heavy apricot juice or a nectar or something like that. I'm not sure I get the toasted pecans, but I haven't never had a toasted pecan meat, so I don't know what it should smell like, but it's very pleasant on the nose. I definitely enjoy you get some honey sweetness in there and that apricot character. Nice body on it. Very true apricot character to the taste on it. Definitely get a little bit of the toasted pecan on the back end. That's a very unique meat. I've never had something like that. I like that. I could see myself keeping a bottle of that around for special occasions when I wanted to really show somebody, hey, check out this unique, this is something you don't see every day. And I guarantee that you don't, because I look every day. Very cool. And how did it do at the Pecan Festival? Was it a hit, or was it a flop, or a...
It was a hit. People have asked us to make it again. It was our fall mead, so we made a limited batch, and we told people, like, once it's out, and we'll make it again next fall, or we'll make a different one. But they've asked us to remake the apricot and pecan, so we'll see. It was fun.
How much fruit do you use? Oh, I'm sure it was. How much fruit do you guys use per gallon, or do you use a standard across the board, or you kind of just dial it in per recipe?
Yeah, it's just per recipe. We try to dial it in. We always try to make sure there is equal or more honey.
Equal or more honey?
Yeah, because
so if you're using 3 pounds of honey per gallon, you want to make sure you're not using more than 3 pounds per gallon of fruit.
Yeah, for it's just a personal thing, because it's a mead, and mead should be fermented honey, and so I feel like it should be the majority of the fermentation, at least 50% or more of the fermentation. So
I got you. That's fair and understandable.
Just a personal thing.
Oh no, I mean that's the best part, is everybody's entitled to their own thing. It's you do what works best for you, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, there's something else. There's always going to be something out there for somebody to like, and you're going to always produce a better product when you're making something that you like. Trying to make something to please other people, all you're going to do is make yourself unhappy.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely glad that you're doing that. And I'm in love with these bottles, by the way. These are freaking awesome. I didn't realize that they were like actually like. I thought it was something that you just like picked up, but they got like little, pressure sensitive caps in them and everything. That scared the crap out of me when I opened this, and it hissed at me. I was like, whoa, hey, calm down now.
Well, being from, chemistry backgrounds, like we were like, okay, we need some bottles that will hold pressure. So, yeah.
I got you. And you said every time you guys travel somewhere, you try to visit a new meadery or whatever. What's like is there any meaderies out there that are inspiring you, or that you look to? It's like, hey, I like what they're doing. We should try to do something like that.
Um, no, I mean, we just really like to visit different ones to try, different meads, and
Mm,
they're all very unique. We try not to do what some of the other meaderies are doing. We try to do something unique and different.
yeah,
But we might look and be like, oh, look, like they've got like this artwork up here. We should start putting artwork or so, you can get
I got her.
business ideas. But we just like to try all the different meads, and to me, it's like a craft beer. Like I love trying
Sure.
different craft beers, and
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Well, you're certainly
everyone,
in a good area for craft beer.
right?
Man. Okay, so I look at your flavor profiles from what I see online. So you guys are definitely not doing. I mean, you have some things that everybody does. There's or not everybody, but some people do vanilla, coffee, coffee mellows or whatnot. But like I said, this apricot toasted pecan one, and the strawberry basil, definitely not ones I see all the time. Um, I want to open at least one more. I'm trying to figure out which one's going to be the one to do. I'm dying to try this green apple cider, so I think I'm going to go with that one too, and then maybe the blackberry. See how that goes. So you said this one had a not very, but this one has like a green apple Jolly Rancher-esque type of vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't use any flavoring, so everything any taste you get comes from the fruit, or the adjuncts, or how we do the fermentation.
Ooh, very cidery, right on the nose. So this is a cider, not a sizer. So it's all apple
Yeah,
juice cider,
yeah,
or yeah, okay.
yeah.
And
All apple juice.
where is it? Oh, so is it juice that you purchased, or did you head up to like an orchard and pick up some apples, or how'd that
We,
work out?
we purchased this juice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming it was like Granny Smith apple, seeing how you're calling it green apple, or was that?
It's mostly a Granny Smith apple, but the fermentation that we do brings out that tartness, but keeps that apple flavor.
Okay,
So it's very, I guess, proprietary or something, how we go through that fermentation. But
nice.
because coming from the flavor industry, I don't like to use flavorings. So it's going to be tart, and a lot of people say it has like a Jolly Rancher.
Mm, I guess I could see the Jolly Rancher. To me, I think it has a much more actually like natural apple taste to it. I think saying it's a Jolly Rancher kind of does it a disservice. That's
Like
that's like
candy.
like oh, it's like juice straight from like taking a Granny Smith apple and wringing it out in your mouth, like no pulp, no skin or anything, but like all that just like concentrated Granny Smith flavor and character right into your face hole. Man, I'm a fan of this one. I like this one a lot. I'm usually not a fan of ciders, like not all the time, but a lot of times when I have ciders, like sometimes they remind me of like apple juice that's gone sideways as opposed to like a intentionally fermented product.
Yeah.
I like all like the big commercial ciders, like the Strong Bows and the Angry Orchards, like that. It's so just not
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
This is what
Thank
they
you.
strive to be.
Thank you.
No, this is wonderful. Like I'm not again not a big cider guy, and I'm here for this.
Yeah. I think Natalie has suggested she's a really big fan of the cider since we started making
Mm,
them, and so she suggested that maybe this year we try to enter some cider competitions.
absolutely. I mean, if nothing else for the feedback alone,
Yeah.
but that is I'm really enjoying that a lot. That is taking my words away. It's just so true to the green apple. Like, good on you guys. Holy cow.
Thank you. Thank you. That one
Hmm.
took that one took some work, but when we finally got it, I'm pretty proud of that one. Uh,
Yeah, the flavor profiles I'm sitting, it definitely shows that you have some sort of clear grasp on like you said you have a chemistry background.
yeah,
Yeah, you definitely have a clear understanding of how like mixing flavors and mixing profiles works, because like everything is very not layered but blended together. Like I don't get the apricot then the pecans. It's like it's a swirl of those flavors. Same with this green apple and the ciders. Like I get the green apple characteristics. I get you know, that traditional cider type of punch and pungency to it, but it's not one then the other. It's always a nice amalgamation of what's already there. The strawberry basil one, that one I enjoy it, but there's something about it that is something. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna revisit that one here towards the end and see if we can't get another. All right, so then we got Tiger's Blood. No, I got to do that blackberry. So this one I've been dying since I saw it. I am in love, absolutely, and 100% LOVE with the color on this mead. That looks like it has so many blackberries in it, like you didn't even save anybody for anybody else. So what's the backstory on the blackberry? I love the little pirate bear on there with the crossed sabers behind him, the little patch on his eye. He's adorable, and it makes me want to buy the bottle just based on that.
So the backstory on the blackberry is we have a blackberry mead that is a still mead that we bottle in a 750 milliliter bottle.
Sure.
And it's on the drier side, so it's one of our sour meads. And it's not my favorite. It's aged on Madagascar, vanilla bean, and clove. But it's Natalie's favorite, and a lot of people love it. And a lot of sour beer drinkers love it. But I love blackberry, and so I wanted something I could drink. So we started making a session blackberry so that it's a little bit lighter and also a little bit sweeter.
Ooh, nice. Nice blackberry right on the nose. Ooh, that's got some fizz to it. Nice, foamy, fizzy. So this is going to be significantly sweeter than that other one you were just talking about. And what's the name of that one? I can't remember. I have a really cool, cheeky name.
Yeah, that one's it's Magnetic Midnight.
That's what it was. Yes, not cheeky, but clever. I love the name of that, and that label is amazing too. Those are my colors, purple and pink like that. That's my colors.
Yeah, we try to make it like a Aurora Borealis there. So
yes.
We tried to make some of our labels after our travel. So when we got back from Iceland, we created that label, and the Auburn with the balloon, that was from like the Albuquerque, New Mexico Balloon Festival. So yeah.
We've got a question here from Miss Kim Greer. Do you design your own labels? The artwork is great. I agree. The artwork is great. And yeah, do you design your own labels, or do you outsource that? Because they have a distinct feel and vibe to them.
Yeah, we do all of our own labels. So I design the labels. Natalie checks them and says yay or nay. So we might have 4 or 5 different designs before we come up on one. The only label we haven't designed is that apricot and pecan. But that was
obviously
fun.
The one that came from the competition.
Yeah, that was fun. So we'll probably do that one again.
No, definitely. I love the idea of having the competition. That same gentleman who over in Pennsylvania, Spacetime Mead and Cider Works, he had a competition as well to submit a recipe, and whoever recipe won got to come in and brew. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool thing to get to have them come in and brew the recipes and everything. He said, yeah, it was great. They got to do all the work and clean up everything, and all I had to do was stand there and supervise.
That's what I was thinking. Put them to work.
Exactly. So maybe that's the next something you guys do. Bring in some home brewers and hey, say here, why don't you do all the work and I'll just stand back here and look good and put my name on it. All right. So yeah, definitely heavy blackberry straight away on the nose. And what's your thoughts on this one? You said this is the one that you make for you based on your flavor profiles versus what Natalie enjoys.
Yeah. She's more of a dry, tart, and I'm more of a sweet, but not like a sticky sweet. I like for it to be balanced.
Definitely balanced. You get the blackberry character up front. It's got just a tiny pinch of the astringency, nice acidic quality to it. Not so much tannins in there, but I'm not expecting it to be. It's supposed to be a nice, something on the sweeter side. And the carbonation definitely helps with the mouthfeel. That's a nice light drinking blackberry session. What is this one you said? 7, 8%?
Uh,
7%?
7%.
Something like that. Nice. Very cool. Yeah, I'm here for this one. What's your best selling mead out of all the ones that you guys do?
On the
Or would you
dry
guess?
side, it's going to be the cherry, and then
Hmm.
um, on the sweeter side, it's the Auburn. But when we came out with the apricot on pecan and the ginger wonderland, those two overtook the Auburn and were like head to head.
Ginger Wonderland. That sounds gingery.
Yeah, yeah. We took one of our friends, we had him smoke chunks of candied ginger. And he did, I think, 5 different smokes on it. And we ended up picking a Pit Boss mix and a 2-hour smoke on the candied ginger. And we put that with wildflower honey, fermented it, and then back sweetened with a metafoam flower honey and
Ooh,
put
yeah.
just a little bit of cinnamon stick in it. So you get like this ginger and like a little bit of heat from the ginger that builds, and then you get like this marshmallow from that metafoam flower honey. And that was like our winter mead.
Very cool. You- How did you get into doing mead? You said you had more of a chemical flavoring background, so at least the knowledge was there, but like why mead over anything else?
Um, well, we wanted to do something that both Natalie and I enjoyed. She initially wanted to just do traditional wine, and I was like, hell no, no
Yeah,
way.
not doing it.
Like, I could probably do it, but I would not enjoy it. It's not fun. There's not any creativity there.
Right.
So I was all about the craft beer. Um, and so we decided mead was more of a middle ground for both
Gotcha.
of us to be able to enjoy it. So that's why we have such a range of meads from dry to sweet, um,
Yeah.
semi-sweets and stuff. So because we both try to build on them. Yeah.
Very, very cool. And you said you've been in business for just over 2 years now, 2.5 years.
Yep.
What's coming down the pipeline for you? You have any big changes you're trying to bring in? Are you trying to get some big new flavors coming out? You got a bottle club that you guys participate in, or have for like members or something?
We don't have a bottle club yet. We just we try to keep our prices pretty reasonable. We try to stick with the 750 milliliter bottles,
Mm,
so they're larger bottles, and we haven't raised our prices really since we opened 2.5 years ago.
nice.
Um, so we're pretty proud of that, and we're coming out with a blueberry cider that we're going to
Okay.
be. We're probably going to pair that with like some hibiscus and maybe add a little bit of honey to it. And then we're always working on some additional meads. We're actually working with some other Missouri meaderies right now,
Oh,
Burnt Barrel,
ooh,
and
yeah.
he's looking at trying to start a kind of like a charity mead
Okay.
where we all make a recipe, and part of the profits go to specific charities. So he's working that up, so we're hoping that comes through this year. And
Something in the vein of the Black is Beautiful type of thing.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And
when we've been talking back and forth in comments and our text messages and whatnot. How, where do you see the Missouri mead scene at currently, and where do you see it going, in the coming years? Because there's got to be like 5 or 6 meaderies there now.
yeah, there's probably about 6 meaderies. Martin Brothers, I think they moved. They closed. They were in
Yeah.
Herman, Missouri, and they were moving to Colorado.
Talk
I think,
saturated market.
yeah. I think the mead industry in Missouri, like we have people come in every day that don't know what mead is. So,
Right.
and that's after 2.5 years of being open. So I think that it has a long way to grow, and it's going to happen over years of just educating people. And even a lot of the competitions, like there's mead competitions, but a lot of the wine competitions, they've introduced some mead categories, and they've always had like the fruit wine categories, but they really don't know how to judge mead.
Yeah.
So, we don't enter a lot of those competitions because you have these traditional wine drinkers trying mead,
They have
and
nothing. They have no idea what to say about it.
sometimes it doesn't go well. But
Yeah.
I think it has a long way to go and a long way to grow. So it's
Yeah.
definitely not saturated here or anything. Um,
Yeah. Well,
but
you said you're doing a collab with Burnt Barrel, and those cats seem to be, I think, probably one of the newer meaderies in the market there, and seem to be doing some pretty big things. And you all seem to have a different. Each one of the meaderies that I know that's in Missouri seems to have like a different vibe and theme to them. And you guys have this very like modern, hip, urban winery type thing. Leaky Roof seems to have like a little more of like a classic type of thing going on. There's that Viking place, and then Burnt Barrel's kind of got his thing going on. So you guys seem like you're kind of not stepping on each other's toes, but you can kind of like all work together to help bring up the mead vibe there in Missouri.
yeah, and I really feel like um, there is no such thing as competition. I mean, people
Mm,
copy, recipe. We've had stuff copied,
sure.
but I, I, I just don't feel like there's competition ever because people, like for myself, when I go to a craft beer, like a brewery, there's not one brewery, and I'm like, I only go to that brewery and I'll never go to any other, right?
Right.
You're tasting multiple ones and going to different breweries, going for those different feels and different experiences. And I feel
Right.
like mead is the same way.
Yeah.
Um, I, I think it'd be nice to have like a mead trail in Missouri. Um, I,
How close are you guys all together? I mean, because you're not all there in the same like county or even anything, are you?
no, we would, so we're an hour south of St. Louis.
Which is
We're
where Four
probably
Brothers
looking
is
at
at.
like, you know, some of them are 30 minutes apart, some are an hour or 2 hours apart. Um,
Gotcha.
Leaky Roof is probably about 3 hours from us.
Ooh,
So it would be, it'd be a multi-day trail if you did one,
gotcha. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, but it's nice because I think people experience different things when they go in the area. We have people here from
Yeah.
Springfield, and they're not even familiar that Leaky Roof is, in that direction. And we're like, hey, they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we didn't know. We've never seen a meadery. And I'm like, well, you have
You
one next to you.
passed one to get to this one.
Yeah, we have people from St. Louis come down. Oh, we don't have meaderies in St. Louis.
Oh,
Yes, you do.
yeah,
So,
yeah, you
um,
do. They've been there for a bit.
yeah.
I
So
got
I
you.
think it's going to take a few years before you see any kind of saturation in the market.
Sure. And so, what's the plan for y'all in the next coming? What's urban or Brix gonna look like in the next couple years? You gonna expand on the profiles that you have, try to keep a steady stable of what you already do, or just kind of roll the dice and do something buck wild?
That's always the challenge is coming up with, new meads and new flavors.
Some
There's
people
some
don't. Some
things
people just do the same stuff year in and year out.
they do. I couldn't do it. Um, I would go nuts. There's a few things I've been working on, and like I said, I just don't believe in competition. People have
Yeah,
copied us,
so be
more
it.
power to them.
Yeah,
But there's some session meads that I've been wanting to do for quite some time since I love craft beers.
yeah,
So we're working on some variations with some honey and hops to create, 2 or 3 different sessions that will drink like a beer, maybe like IPA style, stout, things
Yeah.
like that. But they'll be, gluten-free, non-beer. They'll be classified as a mead. There's one mead I'm working on that is just really a pain in my ass right now. And I've been wanting to do a 40 proof mead. And I want it to
20%
be clear.
alcohol.
Do a, yeah, 40 proof alcohol. So I'll go up to like 20, 22%
Yeah.
alcohol, which is a maximum for wine.
Yeah.
I want it to be clear,
Hmm.
naturally clear. I mean, I don't mind filtering it, but I
Yeah.
don't want to run it through charcoal or nothing like that.
No filter.
And I want to put it in a mason jar. Um,
Okay.
it's a dream I have, but this honey, when you get up that high of a alcohol content, and you've got that much honey, the yeast really struggles because honey's a natural, antimicrobial agent,
Right.
and so even with some nutrients and some other things, the yeast really has to be babied. So that's some of the things we're working on.
Yeah.
Um, don't know
Have you thought
if they'll
about
come out.
have you thought about fortifying with like a grape brandy or something like that to help bump up that ABV? Get up to like 14% and then jack it up with some grape brandy.
I have like doing some different barrel aging and stuff with some wet barrels to help a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, I
That's not
it's
what
just
you're
something
looking
I've
for.
been yeah, it's just something I've been playing with.
Okay.
I got some Canadian white honey.
Yeah.
Um, the besides the fermentation, just getting the fermentation to be clear has
Yeah.
been a really big challenge. So
You,
we'll
you
see.
guys use like a two-part, like the two-part clarifier, like a super clear, like a chitosan or however that's pronounced, the shellfish related one, or do you guys use like bentonite, or do you just do filtration?
We do the 2-part clear and
Yep.
filter,
And
and we also filter.
filter.
Yeah, yeah. We started just doing the 2-part clear, and the bottles look really nice, but after a few months, you'd get like a little bit of that, just a fine layer of sediment in there.
It happens.
Yeah, so we started filtering, and now like we haven't had any issues with it. It's a pain to do it, and you lose some of
Flavor.
the well, so the filtration system we use, we don't notice a flavor change,
Fair
but
enough.
we lose some of the product,
Oh
quite a
yeah,
bit of the product.
I
So
would imagine.
yeah.
You got like a point 0.5 micron filter or something.
We do 2 different filters on it. So we do
Ooh.
a larger filter size so that
Yeah.
we don't, lose a lot of flavor, but we capture the yeast. And then we go down a little
Okay.
bit smaller if we need to. Yeah.
No sulfites or sorbates.
We do use sulfites and sorbates. Yeah.
Sorry. My eyes are terrible. I could not read on this incredibly tiny writing on this bottle label. And side note, I do think it's amazing that you guys went and got the actual like little like miniaturized labels, because I'm assuming that's the label that's on the full size bottle as well.
Yeah.
Did you have to have those special made, or do you guys make them all in house, or you guys just create the designs in house and have them printed elsewhere?
Yeah. We just create the design and have them printed someplace else. Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, kick ass for actually, picking out the full label and just shrinking it down. Also, I feel so stupid. Like I saw these, I was like, I didn't even want to touch the label because I thought I was gonna wipe off the writing, but that's most definitely like printed on there, and I feel like a clown for like not realizing that sooner. I like that idea. I was like, man, you got impeccable handwriting on these tape labels. So you guys got big things happening there currently. You're going to continue to experiment with random, cool, unique flavor profiles. Kind of, make sure you're separating yourself from the rest of the mead scene to do something kind of like you said, your own and very unique. you'll be continuing with the Imperial ciders and the maybe even entering some cider competitions, you're saying, and just continuing to do the cool, unique, funky stuff that you guys do.
Yeah, yeah. And the main thing is to have fun. If it's not fun, I don't want to do it.
If it's not fun, I don't want to do it. Well, anybody who out there who has been to Brix, shoot me a message. I'd love to know what your impressions are. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I've had a fantastic time talking to you and get to sample some of these. These other two, I think I'm going to save to share with some people around in my travels, because I always love to be able to share stuff with people who, you know, might not be able to get it otherwise. Do you have any parting words or any words of wisdom for any home brewers out there that might be watching, or anybody that's, you know, dying to just get into making mead?
Yeah, just keep experimenting and trying. And the best mead you can make is the one you made yourself, right? Everything you make tastes better than everybody else's.
And it tastes a lot better when you know that it was significantly cheaper. It's like, hey, this bottle only cost me $7 to make as opposed to $40 if I would have bought it from some crazy random place potentially, you know, including shipping and all that. Man, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. There you go.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you much.
Come see me. Check us out online, and yeah, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Anybody not following Brix already, go follow them on at least here on Instagram. Do you guys have Facebook as well or no?
We do have a Facebook.
So hit them up on the socials, give them the follows. Anytime you're in St. Genevieve, Missouri, hit them up, let them know that I sent you there, and maybe they'll give you a pat on the back and say, hey, good, thanks for watching.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much again for being here tonight. I had a fantastic time, and I look forward to visiting you guys when we roll through Missouri.
Cool. Take care.
Have a good rest of your evening.
You too.
Thank you. So that was our good chat with Brix Urban Winery and Marketplace. Not Marketplace, Brix Urban Winery and Market. Had a fantastic chat there with Bridgette. And like I said, anybody who's had their stuff, I would love to know what you think. Shoot me a message in the chat or PM, find a post of mine and leave it in the comments, whatever. I'm pretty easy going as far as that goes. Next week, we do have another interview going on Wednesday. I believe that's going to be with, I have to check my calendar. That's on my phone right there. But I believe it's going to be with Queen City out of New York State. So I would get my post going on there pretty quick, do a story, do a share, all that jazz. Thanks, Tony. I'm glad you enjoyed that chat. I had a good time talking to her. That was everything I wanted to know and to do with their stuff and get their name and their vibe and energy out there. So see y'all. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will catch you on the next episode of TK and Drink Live. Peace.
Mm-hmm.